Ladies and gentlemen, Cowboys Nation, hold on to your hats because we've got breaking news that could shake up the entire NFL landscape. I'm talking blockbuster, franchise-altering, potentially league-defining news. According to several circulating reports and increasing speculation from league insiders, there is growing chatter that the Dallas Cowboys may be preparing to make an earth-shattering move that would involve none other than Miami Dolphins star wide receiver Tyreek Hill potentially landing in Dallas. Yes, you heard that right, in a shocking and aggressive trade that some are calling the biggest wide receiver move since DeAndre Hopkins was traded from the Texans. Now, you may be asking, what does this mean for CeeDee Lamb? Is this a partnership or is this a replacement? Well, here's what we know so far. CeeDee Lamb, the Cowboys' undisputed WR, has been the cornerstone of Dallas' passing attack for the past few seasons, consistently putting up elite numbers, earning Pro Bowl selections, and becoming Dak Prescott's most trusted target. But recently, a few developments have thrown everything into question. CeeDee Lamb is reportedly nursing a nagging high ankle sprain, and though it hasn't yet sidelined him for the season, internal concerns about his durability, long-term availability, and ability to remain explosive through a grueling 17-game season have apparently begun to surface within the Cowboys organization. Combine that with the fact that Lamb recently secured a massive contract extension, one of the richest wide receiver deals in franchise history, and you start to understand why Dallas might be exploring all options. Now, here's where it gets crazy. In a league where offense wins championships and where explosive playmakers often determine playoff outcomes, the Cowboys are allegedly looking to double down, go all in, and make a win-now push. Enter Tyreek Hill, the cheetah himself, who has been nothing short of a nightmare for defenses ever since he stepped onto the field. With blazing 4.2 speed, elite separation skills, and home run ability on every snap, Hill remains one of the most feared wide receivers in the game today. Even with Tua Tagovailoa throwing to him in Miami, Hill has consistently torched defenses, racking up 1,700-plus yard seasons and making secondaries look silly. But here's the kicker: despite all that production, the Dolphins reportedly are not fully committed to extending Hill beyond his current deal, and with cap space tightening and defensive priorities increasing in Miami, a trade involving Hill, previously unthinkable, may not be entirely off the table. This is where Jerry Jones and the Cowboys front office come in. Multiple reports and sources close to the team suggest that Dallas has reached out, or is at least internally debating the cost of bringing Tyreek Hill into the fold. And the plan? It's bold. It's risky. But it's pure Cowboys. Stack Hill and Lamb together for a deadly 1-2 punch, or if Lamb's injury situation worsens, potentially transition Hill into the WR1 slot outright. The idea is this: with Dak Prescott entering a potential prove-it year, with Micah Parsons emerging as a superstar on defense, and with the NFC relatively open this season, the time is now. Why wait? Why gamble on injuries or regressions or bad luck when you can go and get the fastest wide receiver in football and unleash a version of the Cowboys' offense we've never seen before? And let's not forget, the NFC East is getting tougher. The Eagles have stocked up, the Commanders are showing signs of life, and the Giants, while inconsistent, have always played Dallas tough. Jerry Jones knows that the Cowboys cannot afford to fall behind, especially when the Super Bowl window is still technically open. Now, as for what a Tyreek Hill trade would cost, let's talk about that. Based on his age, production, and contract, Hill would likely command a hefty return. We're talking at least a second-round pick, possibly a first depending on how negotiations shake out. But Dallas could include current roster players or future conditional picks to sweeten the deal, especially if they're trying to absorb Hill's significant cap hit. Remember, Hill signed a 4-year, $120 million extension with Miami, and his 2025 cap number will be massive. Dallas would likely need to restructure Dak's deal or extend Parsons early to clear space, but these are things the front office has been preparing for. And here's something else to consider in terms of chemistry and fit: Tyreek Hill brings a different skill set than CeeDee Lamb. while Lamb thrives in the slot and on intermediate routes, using his elite body control, footwork, and hands. Hill is a pure field stretcher. He forces safeties to play 15 yards deep and opens up the entire offense underneath. Imagine Dak Prescott having both those weapons at once. Imagine third and long situations where defenses can't double either receiver. Imagine red zone packages where Hill motions across the field and takes defenders with him, leaving Lamb or tight end Jake Ferguson wide open. We're talking nightmares for defensive coordinators. But let's not gloss over the potential downside. There are some within the Cowboys fan base and media who are skeptical. They worry about Tyreek Hill's age, his fit in a more structured offense like Dallas runs, and whether or not his personality would mesh with McCarthy's locker room culture. There are also valid concerns about what this would mean for Lamb if the Cowboys bring in Hill as more than just a compliment. Would that be viewed as a betrayal? Would it fracture the trust Lamb has in the franchise? Would it send the message that the Cowboys don't fully believe in their homegrown All-Pro? These are the human elements that can derail even the best-laid football plans. And yet, knowing Jerry Jones, knowing how this team operates, you can never rule out a splash move. Remember Amari Cooper? That came out of nowhere. Remember Brandon Cooks? Michael Gallup's extensions? The Cowboys have a long history of making mid-season moves that redefine their offensive identity. And with the NFC still wide open with teams like the 49ers, Lions, and Eagles vulnerable in certain spots, adding a weapon like Hill could be the very edge that gets Dallas over the hump and into that elusive Super Bowl slot. As of this moment, no official confirmation from either team has been made public, but the momentum is building. Social media is already exploding. Players are tweeting cryptic things. Some insiders are reporting that the Cowboys are deep in discussions while others suggest it's merely exploratory. But where there's smoke in the NFL, there's often fire. And even if the deal isn't signed today, the fact that Dallas is even entertaining this move means they're not playing it safe. They're done waiting. They want results. And with CeeDee Lamb's injury possibly lingering into the second half of the season, this could be the move that shifts the entire offensive landscape. Whether or not the Cowboys actually go through with the trade, this is a message. It's a warning shot to the rest of the league. It says, we're not sitting on our hands anymore. We're here to compete. We're willing to take risks. And if you're not ready, we'll outrun you literally with the fastest receiver in the NFL. So what should fans expect next? Well, watch the injury report. If Lamb's ankle situation worsens, expect this rumor to explode. Keep an eye on the cap moves. If Dallas restructures deals or releases unexpected names, it's a sign they're clearing space. And of course, stay glued to the insider feeds, because once this kind of rumor gets traction, it usually ends in action, either a massive trade or a bold statement denying it. Either way, the fact that this conversation is even happening should excite Cowboys Nation. Because love it or hate it, agree or disagree, this is exactly what makes the NFL the most thrilling league on the planet. You never know when a routine Tuesday turns into a franchise-altering moment. Tyreek Hill in a Cowboys uniform? That's something no one saw coming, and yet, it might be closer than anyone thinks.